Hey, Brat, number one in here tonight. All right, there we go, girl. Good evening, PG. Much love. God bless. Summer Moon, Utah Wells. Love and prayers for Norway. Prayers to everyone in the chat. Hey, girl. Appreciate it. God bless. God bless. Good to see you. Number two, PG's little girl. All right. Brat. Much love. Much love. That is so sweet. That is so sweet, girl. God bless. And let's see. Carrie is number three. Number three in here tonight. Hey, beautiful PG mods chat. Good to see you all. Much love to you, girl. Much love to you. Oh, that is so cute. That is so cute. Spelled out summer. Amen. And number four, Australia. Australia. Number four is Australia, I believe. Yes, Australia was number four. Let's get down through here and see who else is in here tonight. That is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You guys are so cute, so sweet. Absolutely. Welcome, everyone. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe. It helps keep these children out here. God bless. Hey, Karen, how you doing tonight, sweetie? My three girls, Abigail, Suzanne, Lady Hugh. Mother of a legend. How you doing, sweetie? Georgia Wildchild. Anna. Good to see everybody in here. Dee, there you are, girl. Karen. Pauline, how you doing, sweetie? 1956. Good to see you. She said you forgot me. That is so cute. And Night Owl, how you doing, sweetie? Oh my gosh. Right? Right? I seen that too, girl. I seen that too. We all seen that. Hey, second to none, how you doing, sweetie? Stephanie, Amanda, good to see everybody in here. Yeah, definitely he was had his tail feathers. Definitely had his tail feathers up in the air this morning, right? Sure did. He's always got them tail feathers up. Andrew just, I don't know. You know, old boy's got a lot of issues. He's got a lot of issues. You know, it might be from his, you know, his stay up on 110 when they were down there, right? I mean, there's a lot of witnesses saying that, you know, that he was, that him and all these people was up on 110 Ben Hill Road that day when he came down there to the storage unit. I heard that, you know, that I agree with you, Suzanne. Absolutely, I agree with you. That is true. That is true. But I heard that indeed he was up on the hill, you know, and you know, that could be a lot of his problems. That could be a lot of his problems in today's world, right? Because he's missing his one and only true love, you know, his one and only true love, you know, flew off of that hill, left a lot of smoke going up, hasn't really been seen nowhere since, you know. Look at that. No more days in the park, you know, no more hugging, no more kissing, no more days in the park, no more, you know, hanging out in a trailer. No more this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's probably deeply hurt. He's deeply hurt that he lost his one and only true love, right? You know how the song goes, right? I think we all know how the song goes. I lost my true love, come courting too slow. For courting's a pleasure, and sorrow's a grief. But a false-hearted lover is worse than a thief. Right? Right, we all know that song. Man, that Granddad, she was a false-hearted lover. She worked old boy all up, you know, just for a real drop off the hill, right? Just for a real drop off the hill. He got rolled off the hill too. Grandma rolled him off the hill. And he's all sad now. He don't know what to do. He don't know what to do. Kind of feel sorry for him. Kind of feel, look at that. They look so happy. They look so happy. Well, Grandma don't look too happy. Grandma's like, man, I can't wait to get rid of this sucker. And he's like, oh, please, let me stay. Let me stay. I need you. I love you. I want to hug you and squeeze you. And she's like, oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Look at it. She's like, get your hands off of me. Yeah. Yeah. That's what was going on, you guys. That's what I heard. That's what I was hearing through the grapevine. And then I heard he started making eyes at somebody else. Right? I heard he started making eyes at somebody else up there on Ben Hill because, he's just in love. He fell in love up there the first time and he just can't forget it. So he's looking for true love up there again. I heard he found him a new partner right here. Look at that. Oh, but Andy looks happy with him. Andy looks real happy with him, don't he? Look at that. Andrew, look at Andrew right there. Look at that little roach. He's like, oh, I found true love this time, right? I found true love this time. Look at the happy face. This one's going to stick with me. This one's going to stick with me. Ain't going to be no sad songs today. Mm-hmm. There they are. There they are. Right, Stephanie? Right. There they are. I hear a song playing. Dun 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 dun. Right? I heard that song before, man. It's just echoing up there. Right? Dun dun dun. It just keeps playing. I'm like, what the hell? Right? What the hell? Yeah. That's Andrew, man. I'm surprised he's out here. He seems to be so busy up there. He seems to be so busy up there trying to pick up the pieces, right? Yeah. I have no idea, you guys. I feel sorry. I feel sorry for him. He was saying, I didn't say, I haven't ever said Allison was missing. I never said Allison was missing. Right? That's what he said.
I'm not upset about Allison missing. I'm more worried about Hunter.
Yeah, that's our thing. We're worried about Hunter.
I'm not upset about Allison missing. I'm more worried about Hunter.
Yeah, that's our thing. We're worried about Hunter.
Allison's missing right there. That's what I'm saying. We're worried about Hunter. He was going around saying Allison was missing, right? Right there proves it. Right there. I'm not worried. He was saying Allison's missing. This guy's like, I'm not worried about Allison missing. I'm worried about, that's what I'm saying. We're worried about Hunter. He was going around saying, Andrew and that guy that was coming up on his panel a lot. They was claiming that when Allison was in the hospital, they were claiming she was missing. Remember? Yeah. He tried to say Allison was missing. Well, the reason he was saying Allison was missing is because the kids didn't trust him enough to let him know that Allison was in the hospital. They didn't want old daddy, right? Old daddy to know that mommy was in the hospital. There you go. And, and he couldn't get a hold of Allison, didn't know where Allison was. And the kids were leading him to believe that Allison was missing. Nobody could find her. And the whole time she was in the hospital, getting ready to meet the maker, right? Meet our maker. And, just saying. Yeah. And those kids, they didn't trust him enough to let him know that she was in there, because they was afraid he was going to be putting 2 and 2 together and making 4 with Leslie and Allison both, passing away the same exact way. You tell me what the coincidence is of 2 people passing away the exact same way. Oh, they had the flu, fell down, hit their head really hard, went into comas, and passed away. It wasn't the flu that took them out. It was the head injury, right? It was the severe head injury that they suffered that actually put them into a coma, which actually took them out of this world. So they both, had one thing in common. They got hit in the head hard enough to take them out of this world, right? Just saying, that's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. Hey, Carrie, I appreciate that super sticker. And they had one common denominator. What was that? Hunter, right? The same person that was, going into the water behind Summer the very day, right? That she ended up on milk jugs and completely disappearing. Yeah. That boy, Hunter, who is a grown-ass man now. He's a grown-ass man. He's not a boy anymore. He's a grown-ass man. That's Allison sitting inside. She's actually, yeah, you're right. She's at Tucker's drywall. She's at Tucker's drywall, right? I thought this was Grandis's camper, but you're right. It isn't. She's at Tucker's drywall. Wow. Good catch. Good catch. Yes, it obviously was. That's right. It was taken at Tucker's drywall, right? What a small world. What a small world this is. I think that's what happened, Sharon. I think that he stole all of her money. Allison owed $900 in back rent and $900 for rent. She owed $1,800 to the landlord, and she had the money to pay the landlord, and Hunter stole it. From what Andrew said, Hunter had stole his mother's money that Allison told Andrew. Andrew said Allison confided in him that she had $1,800 for the rent, and Hunter took it and got tattoos, went and got tattoos with it. And I think what Allison did was, told Hunter, I should have called law enforcement out here the day that Candace and Grandis pulled up out front with that baby and brought it in here unalived. I should have turned you in then, and I might still do it. You're out of control, and I'm not going to put up with your shit anymore. And I think, that's what caused the big head injury and her going into a coma and her passing away. That's my opinion. And I think it's the same thing happened with Leslie too. I think Hunter was staying with Leslie, and I think he was stealing from her and lying to her. And Leslie had found out something. Hunter had told his girlfriend something that his girlfriend had told the mother, and somehow Leslie had found out. And Leslie went to Allison. To my understandings, Leslie went to Allison and said, if you don't go to law enforcement, I'm going to. And that's when Leslie ended up the same way Allison did. So, just saying. Though, that's two women's cases that should have been looked into. Somebody should have looked into, what the hell is going on with these women, getting blows to the head that's putting them in comas and they're passing away. And the common denominator was Hunter, right? Which was also, seen, the last one seen approaching Summer on June the 15th, 2021 in that water. He was the last one seen approaching that little girl. So law enforcement should have been looking into this shit. I do not know what's wrong with, Hawkins County law enforcement. I have no idea what's wrong with them because they don't seem to be doing their job. That's my opinion. I'll keep it.
I'm not upset about Allison missing. I'm more worried about Hunter.
Yeah, that's our thing. We're worried about Hunter.
They're worried about Hunter. Everybody's worried about Hunter. I ain't worried about Hunter at all. I'm worried about Summer Moon, Utah Wells. That's who I'm worried about. I'm worried about a little girl who's missing and needs to be found and needs to get justice against the evil beings who were evil enough to do this to her. That's what I'm worried about. I don't give a flying rat's ass about Hunter, right? I don't care about Hunter at all. Hunter, everything I know about Hunter is not good. Everything I've learned about Hunter is not good. The only thing I've learned about Hunter is, he's an out of control, hard ass little mother freaker that thinks he's somebody when he's a nobody. I'm going to tell you, unliving 5-year-old innocent little girls isn't cool. And, bashing old women in the head to the point that they go into a coma and die, that's not cool either. That's my opinion. I'll keep it. There's nothing big and there's nothing thug about picking on women and children. People who pick on women and children are freaking cowards. Just saying. They're just fucking cowards. They pick on women and children because they ain't got enough ass to pick on a man. They know a man will put their ass in their place. Like Hunter. He was at home giving Allison the shit, and Allison's boyfriend, remember Allison's boyfriend wiped the floor with him? Remember that? Remember Allison's boyfriend wiped the floor with his ass and Hunter had to leave and go stay somewhere else because Allison's boyfriend wasn't going to let him punk his mom and act that way with his mom? And his ass had to go stay somewhere else? Yeah, exactly. Hunter's no match. He's no match for another man. And he knows it. And he knows it. He cowers down to men. I didn't notice Allison's boyfriend leaving. I noticed it was Hunter leaving. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, Hunter was in a gang. Yeah, he was in a gang, all right. A gang of freaking... I'm not even going to say it because I don't, I'm not even trying to offend nobody. I'm not even trying to offend nobody because you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful how you word things out here. I'm going to tell you, he was in a gang, all right. What, Spanky in the gang, right? Which one was he? Was he Spanky? Was he Alfalfa? Who was he? Which one of them was he? More like the goof troops, right? More like a goof troop. That's what they was. I mean, most gangs, it's like, what's up, and so forth and so on. It's not, it's not that when Hunter and his dad would walk up to a gang, it would be more like, well, his dad, it would be like, hey, what's going on, everybody? Right? They're like, oh, what the fuck is that? Damn. Is this guy talking to us? Everybody looking behind him and shit to see if there's somebody else this guy might be talking to, right? Hunter's different. Hunter walks up to, and he's like, hey, man, what are we going to do today? What do you want to do today? You want to go? I got an idea. Let's go gas station. Let's go gas station and see if there's anybody I can pull out of their car and take their kid. Let's go do that. I'd like to do that today. Yeah. That's his son, right? Put them both together and oh my gosh. Who the fuck thinks of doing shit like that? Who walks up to a gang, a bunch of thugs and says, hey, would you like to go shopping? Would you like to go shopping on the back of my bicycle? I got a basket back there. I got a basket in the back of my bicycle. Right? I mean, it ain't even, look at the junk in the trunk. Right? This motherfucker ain't got no ride. He ain't got no ride. He has to ride a bicycle. Is anybody here? Anybody here need a lift? Does anybody need a lift? Hell no. Yeah, we like you to lift yourself on out of here. It's like, whoa. Allison had no business. She had no business at Tucker's Drywall. She was at Tucker's Drywall with Donald and Candace and Grandis and them. She was there. Probably at some type. It looks to me like it's after dark, so they was probably there partying. They was probably there having like a some type of, little camp out, some kind of little cookout, camp out type thing. She was probably there hanging out, roasting marshmallows. That's my opinion. That they was having some kind of little, party. But you heard what Don said. You heard what Donald said about Tucker, right? About his boss. You heard what he told the lab, that they had video footage, they might have. I don't know. I don't know. That's what Donald said. So, I assume they did. I assume they did with Donald saying they did. I have no reason not to believe him. Right? Allison lied from get-go too. Allison lied from get-go too. I think H told more truth than Allison did. Because H said that actually I have where Allison's talking here, her and Leslie. Leslie is lying too. Know for a fact I seen her and told FBI and TBI. No, Leslie did not see Summer. She did not see Summer. That's a lie. Oh, now you seen her. So why did they even bother to look at the camera footage? Leslie did not see Summer at all. June 15, 20. Leslie wasn't even there. She wasn't even there. She came, she came and picked Allison up after Hunter's girlfriend mother came and picked Hunter up. And Leslie wasn't there earlier in the day when Hunter left with Candace and them. And Leslie wasn't there when Hunter got dropped off as well, and neither was Graham Bunn. These people were lying. They were lying to protect Hunter's ass. He told them to give him one, and they stated to us he didn't need one because they pulled the camera feed at the time, and he was dropped off, and she was alive at the time. That's a lie. They did ask for a lie detector's test, and Allison declined. Allison declined that lie detector's test, is what I heard. So, and I got very, very, very liable sources. Trust me, I got very liable sources. And Andrew knows that I'm telling the truth. And they also went back and asked Hunter after he just recently, they wanted him to do a lie detector's test to come in, and they wanted to ask him some things on the case and wanted to know if he was willing to take a lie detector's test, and he still refuses. He still avoids law enforcement and refuses to take that lie detector's test. Why? Because he's lying. He knows he's effing lying. If Hunter, it's not able to hold up in court, but if Hunter took a lie detector's test, he knows he'd be going to prison, because then they'd have a case, right? Then they'd have a real case when they find out that boy's lying his ass off. The minute they say, did you unlive Summer Moon Utah Wells? And he says no, he's going to be in trouble. And he knows it. And that's why he's avoiding the lie detector's test. That's my opinion. I will keep it. Okay? But Leslie, I ain't saying Leslie's a liar, because that's probably the bullshit Allison fed her, right? That's probably the bullshit Hunter and Allison and all of them was feeding her. But she did lie about seeing Summer. That was a lie. I'm telling you, these evil people are willing, they're willing to be the devil's advocates. just to have a friend. They're willing to be in a cesspool of hell just to have a friend. I'm not going to sit in hell just to have a friend. I don't need friends. I don't need friends like that. The camera feed from where? Also, how could anyone confirm she was alive if she appeared to be asleep in the car? There you go. There you go. From the cameras that is on the poles, they seen her in the car giving hugs. No, the cameras on the poles weren't working. We all know the cameras on the poles. I heard they were dummy cameras. And then somebody said that they got notices, the whole neighborhood got notices to watch their kids because them cameras didn't work. So, I don't know why Leslie's lying. And this could be something Allison was feeding her too. It could be the bullshit Allison's feeding her. Those cameras right there were not working. They were not working. They were out of order. They don't work. But what happened to Allison's cameras, Leslie? That's what the person should have asked Leslie. Why did they have to use the cameras on the pole when Allison said she had cameras, in the front windows of her house and all through her house, to make sure nobody stole anything? Why did they, why didn't Allison show them that video footage, right? Why didn't she give them her phone and let them see that footage, right? Where did all those damn cameras disappear to after Summer disappeared? Right? Yeah, Allison definitely, she went to Tennessee and definitely got a nice home for her and her kids. And when she opened a camera, and she opened a camera a few times inside her home, and her house looked pretty clean. To me, her house looked pretty, it looked a hell of a lot cleaner than Candace's did, right? It looked cleaner than Candace's. Somebody said, she had a snake under her refrigerator. I don't know how in the hell that happened, but, I guess anything's possible. She had to move the refrigerator and get Andrew out from underneath there, right? She had to move the refrigerator and get Andrew out from underneath there. Put him back into the yard so he could crawl away. Yeah, look at that thing. That thing was not working. Yeah, the porch was beautiful. I agree. It was a nice home. It was a nice home. It was a HUD house. It was one of them HUD houses that you pay practically nothing for it. And Allison was paying like double what the rent was because they were putting so much of that into a fund so that, when her lease was up, she would have a down payment, a down payment to buy another home, because she was working at Walmart. She had a good job. She was building time up. At work, and she had, she went to work every day. She wasn't missing no time. And she was a very steady worker. And Allison was building her life where she could have, bought her own home at some point if she'd have kept on the path. If she'd have kept on the right path and kept doing what she was doing, she could have bought herself a really nice home and had a pretty, decent future. Because she was reliable, right? She was reliable about going to work and everything. But she just didn't have, reliable people around her. She didn't have people who really cared and were willing to those kids were not willing to help their mother. They were hindering their mother. You know, those kids were all out of control, and they was, you know, they was holding their whole family back from a better life in the future. Those were not kids that, you know, worked together. They did not work together. True didn't, you know, work with her mom to, you know, to keep a really nice home, and the kids in line, and, you know, mom goes to work, the kids are on good behavior, you know, and they all take care of one another and help one another and support one another to, you know, to have a better life in the future. When True turned 16, True could have got a job too. And Hunter could have stayed home with his sister and grandbun, and, you know, and True could have been bringing in some money, helping to put money towards a new home as well. And then when Hunter turned 16, he could have worked, and he could have, you know, been able to put into the pot in order to, you know, make all of their lives a better life as well. But these kids, you know, didn't give a damn about no better life. They were ghetto as hell, and they just, you know, out of control. They were out of control heathens. That's what they were. All they cared a shit about was themselves. True was selfish, self-seeking, self-centered, and so was Hunter, you know, and both of them was out there causing Allison all the trouble they could, and they wasn't helping their mom at all in any way, form, or how, right? They were all mooching and living off of her, and now they ain't got her to mooch and live off of, right? They didn't treat her right, and they lost her. That's their, you know, that's their problem. That's their problem. I bet they miss mommy now. I bet they miss that free rent, that free food, all that free shit that they was getting off the back of their mother. And then they thought that they was going, you know, in their minds, True thought she was going to move in there with her low-life boyfriend and lay around in mommy's house. And Hunter figured he's going to live there too, right? They thought they was going to move right in and take over, you know, what mommy came there and built, and found out that, no, you're not going to come in here and take it over. All your asses is evicted out of here, and you're going to have to find somewhere else to live. And they had to all get out. And from what I understand, you know, now True is going to court because she's got abuse charges against the one and only baby she had, right? The one and only child she had, the one that she wanted, you know, that she was sitting there. When her mom was passing away, I can't take this stuff because I'm pregnant and I'm worried so much about my baby, and I love my baby and I care about my baby, and I'm thinking about my baby, the baby she abused, the baby who she's going to court for next month for abuse charges, right? Oh, you care so much about your baby, but you abused it. You waited till it got here to abuse it, right? I'm going to tell you, these motherfuckers are nothing but a facade. They're a big facade. They don't give a damn about anything but themselves. They can't be good to anything. They use and abuse everything they get in their path. Right? It is what it is, man. I'm going to tell you. There's no honor. There's no honor amongst these people. They're pure garbage. They're freaking trash. They're fucking alley trash. That's what they are. They're alley trash. And ain't a damn thing you could do to help people like that. The best thing you could do is stay the hell away from them, because they're worthless. And they're always going to be worthless, because their habits mean more to them than anything else. Their good time and staying all hayed up is what they get up every day for. They don't get up to go to work and make a better life. They get up to get hayed up. and to make everybody else's life fucking miserable. Like she did her own one and only child. Right? Is that child going to be able to live a normal life now? We don't know how severe the abuse was. Right? We don't know how severe the abuse on that child was. Will it be able to live a normal life? We don't know. That's what I'm saying. And you know, I knew that True was a facade when she said, you know, F Summer. Remember that? Do you all remember when she came out and said F Summer? This ain't about Summer. Nobody cares about Summer. She was speaking for her damn self. Those mother freakers were fake. They were fake. They didn't give a damn about Summer. They didn't care about nobody but theirself. True was up there on Ben Hill Road with some 12-year-old little girl, according to Candace Bly. Candace Bly told me that True came up there with a 12-year-old little girl, and she wanted Candace to tell this 12-year-old little girl that it was okay to be True's girlfriend and to let True do, you know, things that no one should be doing to a 12-year-old child. And Candace, you know, failed to tell me about the rest, but Allison did. Allison told me, yes, True and this 12-year-old girl was up at Candace's house. And Don Wells throwed True and the 12-year-old out, and they had to sleep in the back of the truck. But Candace was partying with them. Candace Wells was supplying illegal substances to True and a 12-year-old little girl that True brought up there. And they was all partying up, and Don Wells got pissed off for some reason. I don't know why, but he got pissed, maybe because, you know, the 12-year-old wouldn't look his way. I don't know. I wasn't there. But according to Allison, you know, True and the girl had to sleep in the back of the pickup truck until the next day when Candace was able to bring them home. Now, that's what I heard. Yes, Don Wells paid the girls to put the panda pool together and didn't pay them. You mean Don Wells told the girls if they put the pool together, he would pay them and then didn't. Right? That sounds about like Donald. That sounds about like Don Wells. Yeah. And that's what I think too. You know. Yeah, True didn't do anything but cause her mother a lot of misery and hell. And Hunter did the same. Those kids had no respect for their mother because their mother didn't demand no respect. She didn't demand any respect. I'm going to tell you something. Children need to stay in a child's place. Right? You tell your kids what to do. They don't tell you shit. They need to listen to you. When they're big enough to stop listening to you and going by the rules you have under your roof, then they need to get their own place. Right? Don't let that door hit you in the ass. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. You know, if you're too grown up to follow the rules and to have respect, then it's time to go. You got to go. See ya. You know, I'm going to tell you, My kids don't have to like me. They don't have to like me. They don't even have to love me. But by God, they're going to respect me. They're going to respect me. And I'm going to tell you something. You know, if they want to be the boss, then they need to pay the bills, right? If you want to be the damn boss, you need to start paying the bills. There you go. As long as my ass is paying the bills, I'm going to be the one setting the rules. And they're going to be the ones following them. And if they can't follow them, then you know what? Don't let that door hit you in the ass. It's just the way it is. I'm not going to fight with my kids. I'm not going to go looking for them. They disappear. My kid wants to run away. Hey, don't worry about me looking for you. Right? I hope your ass finds a job. First thing you better do is find a job, because you know you're going to have to feed yourself, clothe yourself, and put a roof over your own head. I hope you get a job. I ain't gonna come looking for you. I got a feeling you're gonna show right back up on my damn porch. Right? And I'm probably gonna wish you didn't. That's just the way it is. You know, I ain't got time. I ain't got time for that bullshit. I love my kids, man, and I let them know I love them. But I also let them know that they need to respect me. I respect them, and they better return it. It's a two-way street out there. It ain't one way. It's a two-way. And you know, if it becomes a one-way, then they got to go. I believe in being a team. I believe in everybody working together to make everyone's life better, not fucking worse. I ain't got time for that shit. And Allison shouldn't have had time for that shit as well. Allison should not have had time for that. That's right. Your kids have got, you know, I'm going to tell you how you teach your kids to have respect for you is by teaching them to have respect for others. You teach your children how to have respect for others, they'll have respect for you. When you teach your children not to have respect for other people, when you're standing around and you're saying, you know, F that old lady, you don't have to listen to nobody, you don't have to do this and you don't have to do that. Well, all you're doing is you're raising a disrespectful brat that's going to end up disrespecting you. And you have no one to blame but yourself. You tell your kids that they need to listen to the teacher. If they got a problem with the teacher, then you will go in there and solve that problem, not them. They will learn and have respect for all human beings. And if any of those humans give them problems, you will be the one to have a talk with them other grown-ups, not your child. You need to teach your children how to help an older person put groceries in the back of their trunk if they need it. You need to teach your children to reach up and grab that item that a little old person can't reach. You need to teach your children to look out for the younger children, even if they ain't their brothers and sisters, to look out for them and make sure they stay safe. You need to teach your children to love and respect all humans, and they'll love and respect you too. You sit around and you put other people down in front of your kids and you tell your kids that and allow your kids to do it. It ain't going to be long. They're going to be doing it to you. Do it with them and they'll do it to you. That Bible tells you to raise them up the way you want them to go and they won't stray from it. You better raise them up to have respect for everybody, not somebody. You better raise them up to not want to be like disrespectful people. I raised my kids to not start anything. You don't start nothing. You don't need control over no one else's life. You don't need to be a bully. You don't need, and I'm going to tell you something right now. I raised my sons to respect women, to not lay hands on a woman. I raised my kids like I told my sons. I said, listen, you don't ever put your hands on no woman, ever. That is a sign of weakness. If a woman comes at you sideways and you just, don't want to be around her or with her anymore, walk away. Just walk away. Don't touch her. Don't put hands on her. Just tell her, look, it's over, and mean it. A real man will walk away and he won't ever see your ass again. That's how you know if you had a real man or not. He will walk away and you won't ever see his ass again. He ain't gonna bother to sit around, argue with you, fight with you, or anything with you. He's just gonna get up and say, see ya. He'll find something that he don't have to argue with, and he don't have to put up with all the shit with. He'll get something else that'll treat him right, and he'll treat it right. He don't need that shit in his life. And that's how real men are. I tell my sons to give their girlfriends the same respect as they would want for their sister, that they would want for their mother. You don't do a thing till you get that ring. You want to sleep around with this girl, you need to marry her. You need to marry her. My sons ain't old enough to marry yet. I got one almost ready. But I'm going to tell you something. If he wants his, to lay around with his girlfriend, he needs to put a ring on it, and he needs to marry it first. Be respectful. Treat the girl with respect. Does he want some guy coming over and laying around with his sister? I don't think so. But where Candace and Hunter and them come from, and I lived in that freaking hood life. I know what it's like to live in the ghetto. I know what it's like to be there. But I'm going to tell you something. I ain't going to be picking up no punk to come over and lay around with my 13, 14, 15-year-old daughter. Why Allison, and I'm not going to let some woman come and pick up my 14, 15-year-old son to go lay around with her daughter. You're not coming to my house, pick my son up to go lay around with your daughter. That shit ain't happening. I mean, who in the hell goes picks up some boy to come and lay around with their daughter? Who lets some 17-year-old punk come and move in with their 15-year-old child? I don't know. I'm going to tell you what. Hell no. Just saying. That boy would have had to be digging my foot out of you know where. Don't even think about it. I tell you that right now. All I'd have to tell people like that is you don't know me, but you will real quick. You'll come to my place one damn time and you won't come back. I don't put up with that stuff. I believe in marriage. I believe in people staying together. If your marriage is broke, you need to fix it. You took an oath. You took an oath before God. You said for better, for worse. Till death do you part. You didn't take an oath in front of a preacher and a few other people standing around. You took an oath before God Almighty. God's the one that bonds two people together, not the preacher. And you're supposed to marry till death do you apart. If one of you are walking through hell, then you both supposed to be walking through it. You're a freaking team now, baby. You two became one. If you can't get along, you better start learning how to. You should have thought of that before you went and said, I do. Marriages don't work no more. They don't work no more. Because it's too easy to lay around with somebody without that marriage license. If you want something that hasn't already been had, you have to look for something. You have to actually look for something 13, 14, 15 years old. Because everything over 15, 16, 17 has already been had in this world today. Because you have people like that young girl's mother picking up hunters to come over and lay around with their daughter. That woman wasn't thinking about keeping her daughter good until marriage. She wasn't thinking about keeping her daughter good in order to get a good education and to find a good man and to get, married. She wasn't thinking about none of that. She didn't give a damn about her daughter. Because if she really cared about her daughter and her daughter's education and her daughter being married and, disease-free in the future, she wouldn't have been picking up somebody to come over and lay with her. That's my opinion. And I don't give a damn because I know I'm right. No girls under 18 should be sleeping with nobody. Every little girl under 18 should be getting an education and having fun with their girlfriends and thinking about going to college and finding themselves a real man and getting married and having something in this life. They shouldn't be thinking about, doing adult things before they're old enough to even be an adult. Parents are giving these kids too much power today. Parents are relying on their children instead of the children relying on their parents. Parents are standing there relying on their kids to pick up the house and their kids to help do this and their kids to do that. And, get in my pocketbook and do this, get in my pocket, use my credit card for this, get this, no, you don't give no kids that kind of power. You use your own credit card at the stores. You do everything. Don't tell your kid, oh, get my credit card out and order this or order that. You're giving your kid power. What you're telling your kids is they can step into your shoes. And then when they're in your shoes, bossing your ass around and acting like they are the boss instead of you, well, you have a problem with it. And by the time you see where it went all wrong, you've got some ugly, monstrous kids who have no respect for you. You ain't nothing but their sugar mama. Sugar daddy. They don't love you, they use you. The only time they want to be nice to you, talk to you, or even be around you is when they want something. Any other time, they want nothing to do with you at all. They'd rather be with their friends and their boyfriends and whoever or whatever. They don't even want to answer their phone for you. It's like you're always bothering them. You're bothering them when you shouldn't be bothering them. And that's what people have created. Blame yourself. The old folks, they had kids who loved them. They had children who actually loved them. Why? Because them old folks didn't let their kids get into their damn business. Them old folks made those kids stay in their place, a child's place. You don't get into my business. It's not none of your business how much money I have. It's not none of your business what I'm doing. It's none of your business. You don't tell me nothing. And they kept those kids in their damn place. They kept those kids in their own shoes. Don't you even try to get in mine. And they raised good kids. Those kids didn't want nothing their parents had. They had respect and they wanted to go out just like mommy and daddy, and they wanted to make their own. The only thing they wanted from their parents is love. And that's how you raise good kids. That's right. You be seen, not heard. If adults are talking, get your ass the hell out of here. What are you doing in here, kid? This ain't none of your business. Get outside. Go play somewhere. You don't come around and sit around and stick your nose in adult business. This ain't got nothing to do with you. They kept those kids out and somewhere else. But today, those kids are sitting right there with their ears perked up, listening, hearing, seeing, wanting, and trying to run everything. And at first, parents think it's so cute. Oh, it's so cute. No, it's not fucking cute. It's not going to be cute when they're mother freaking hunter's age, possibly hitting you hard enough in the head to put you into a coma and take you out of this world. It ain't going to be fucking cute then. Right? Nothing cute about that shit. And in my opinion, that's possibly what happened. And in his dad's opinion, that's exactly what might have happened. That came out of his own daddy's mouth. And I think old daddy knows his son way better than we do, right? Don't you, Andrew? Huh? Hey, Andrew. Yeah, I'm talking to you, girlfriend. Right? Fruity Pebble Pants. Right? I'm talking to old Fruity Pebble Pants. Andrew. This mother freaker talks about going to work, and I ain't never seen him work a day in his life. His old lady's putting on the britches, right? His old lady's putting on the britches. She's really pulling them on too, trust me. He's probably sitting on her stomach trying to button them so he can get her out the door to go make that money to keep his freaking gigolo backside up, right? While he stays home and terrorizes the cat all day. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, they took it down. No doubt. Exactly, April, right? Exactly. How, you know, these people were a nightmare. They were a freaking nightmare. Oh yeah, she does. She runs his ass. That's the truth. I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to tell you what. Andrew has some real gross people in his chat as well, right? He has some real gross people. Oh yeah, that Lips is one of them. That Lips is one of them. You know, and she's got the right name, right? All Lips. She'd be kissing ass everywhere, right? She got the right name. And I'm going to tell you what, she can pucker up and kiss Andrew's backside for me, because I wouldn't let her kiss mine, right? She's a freaking old butt nasty, right? And then they got somebody in there named Laura. You know, all I got to say to her is, why don't you go to 110 and eat at the Y, right? Why don't you go do that? The dusty but why up there. I'm going to tell you, Zach, if you don't know what Fruity Pebble Pants is, then you know what? I'm not going to school you on it, baby. Use your imagination, okay? Use your imagination. I'm going to tell you, I don't know who the Lori or whatever the hell. I just know she's one of his mods. And she, you know, she's really, I live rent free up in their fucking heads, right? I live rent free in all of their fucking heads. And let me tell you something. The fucking light's on and there's nobody home. All right? Ain't fucking nobody home up in their head. I'd be up there doing a motherfucking two-step, baby. Ain't nothing they can do about it. I often keep them awake at night. Them bitches are so scared that PG might get a super sticker or a super chat that, you know, that it makes them freaking, you know, they're like one of those weebles wobbles, but they don't fall down. They're all weebling and wobbling, right? Yeah, old drippy lip. Got that right. I'm going to tell you, those people are nothing but one big cesspool of fucking pure evilness. That's exactly what they are, a bunch of haters. They got to always be hating on somebody, right? They wouldn't know what to do if there wasn't somebody to hate on. Well, bitches, right here I am, hate on me. Like I give a damn. You know, you're just getting me gifts in heaven, right? They're getting me gifts in heaven, baby. Because, you know, when they're hating on me, they're leaving other people alone. So I'm getting gifts in heaven. Hate on me like I give a shit. I don't. What I give a shit about is this 5-year-old missing little girl, Summer Moon, Utah Wells. That's what I give a shit about. I don't give a shit about nothing else. I'm not out here to spare anyone's feelings. I'm not out here to spare anyone's feelings, and I sure in the hell ain't going to spare theirs, right? And that's the truth. That's just how it is. I said it from day one. God put this channel together for Summer Moon, Utah Wells. He put it together and he put me up here as the vessel to run it. And I've been running it. And I think I've been doing one hell of a job at it. And them motherfuckers know I have. Because you know what? I got them bitches shaking in their shoes, don't I? I got every one of them shaking in their shoes. Freaking old nasty Jody Sue Brown. Her freaking monster, Andy Bernard. Yeah. I got Don, Candace, Grandis. I got all them mother freakers hot-headed as hell, right? Of course I do. I probably even got that Tim Mullins a little shook. I don't like his choice of words, and I don't understand why he's fighting for little boys to return to Ben Hill Road more than their own parents are. I don't understand that. And if he cares so fucking much about Josie, why isn't he opening his front door up so the boy can be there? And you know, why can't Tim Mullins open his front door up and be a forever home for Josie? Does he feel he's too damn good to take in one of the Wells children and give him a forever home? I mean, he wants to stick his nose up everybody's crawl, including DCS's, right? When it comes to these boys. So why don't he open that freaking door and let that kid in? There you go. Just saying. Just saying. If I was a big advocate for the Wells, then I would open my door up for Josie to live with me. I'd be, you know, if I cared that much about Josie, I would open my door up and say, hey, Josie, come live with me. Just saying. Right? That's, you know, I'm not going to open my door up and say, Josie, come live with me, because I already know that Josie was tainted by his own dad and mom. I know that he has already, you know, he has already been introduced to the wrong life. And once you're introduced to that life, there's a great possibility that you may go back to it, right? And I don't need that kind, you know, I don't need that kind of problems inside my own household. But Tim Mullins, you know, he's advocating, you know, like this kid is the best thing in the whole world, and you know, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, nothing wrong with this child and all of this stuff, and the parent, they ain't nothing wrong with the parents or anything. So why isn't he opening his door up for it all to come in? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me that Tim Mullins needs to open his door up since he's advocating so hard. That's my opinion. Hey, Trish, I appreciate that, girl. Hey, all right. Super chat, bet that made you jelly, didn't it, Andrew? Yeah, it did. You're staying up where you want to go to sleep, but your eyeballs are just, you're holding them open. It's all looking, your big ears hanging out so you could listen. Oh, I know you are. Take a looky at that. Take a looky at that. You know, you'll probably be playing out this live tomorrow. You'll probably be playing it out tomorrow. And when I say good shit that you don't want your people to hear, you'll be like, shut up, Bianca. Oh, she needs to shut up. I want her to shut up. She needs to shut up. Oh, please let her shut up. Yeah, right. That's what you'd be doing, because you don't want the people to hear the truth about how fucking evil him and his son, and actually that whole freaking group of fucking people surrounding Summer Moon Utah Wells, an innocent 5-year-old little girl, really are, right? You don't want them to hear that, because they might rather be here advocating for the victim, the real victim, than over there listening to his bullshit, right? That's what it is. And that scares him. That scares him. Yeah. But hey, girl, I appreciate the support for Summer's channel. God knows I do. I really do. God knows it. But you're extra special because you just made Andrew jelly. And that made me happy. Very, very happy. Girl, I'm right now, you don't even know. I'm ready to jump out of this chair, do a freaking happy dance. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. All right. Look at that. Look at that, Andrew. Spread love. All right. Gifted 1 Prayer Garden of America membership. And she didn't gift it to you, Andrew. Yeah, you missed out, didn't you? There you go. Hey, girl, that is a gift that we'll keep giving, and I so appreciate it. God bless. God bless. You guys are amazing, amazing, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I really do, especially when Andrew's watching and getting jealous as hell, and probably, you know, I could hear the dude from where I'm at right now, you know, cussing under his breath. Whoa, another super sticker. All right, Australia. God bless. God bless. Absolutely, PG's little girl. Thank you. Amen. I appreciate that. Absolutely. All right. Yes. Yes. Spread the love. Thank you for gifting membership. Amen. That is a thank them all. I thank them all for everything they do for Summer's channel. Yeah, praise the Lord. Yes, he was 5 seconds ago. I died. Yeah, I'm telling you, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, we got them. I'm gonna tell you what, we got them all shaking in their shoes. They're all shaking in their shoes, right? They're shaking in their shoes because why?
I have said this since the beginning to people that made a difference. That I've told people about having the dream that I've, in the open grave. It's been told. It's not a lie. And I have heard my whole life that the best time to get rid of somebody is when there's an open grave.
And they seen opportunity. And they seen opportunity right across the road where Timothy Morrison had a hole already dug, ready to be put away in it, right? They seen the opportunity. And I'm going to tell you something. That's where I truly believe this baby is. And I'm going to tell you, the reason I really believe the Summer is over there in that grave is because they tried so hard to hide it. They were stocking it up, and the people over there visiting up was getting stocked up, right? Me and my friend, we got stocked up over there, right? We got stocked up over there in that cemetery, right, Andrew? Right, Andy? Good old Chad Arnold had his ass over there stocking us up inside that cemetery. The grave was hidden. They tried to camouflage this mother freaking grave so that it couldn't be found. They was trying to camouflage it so law enforcement or no one else would be able to find it. Why the hell would you do that if there wasn't something down in there that you didn't want found? Why would you do that? I'm telling you, that's where I truly believe Summer is. And Don and Candace had their stupid little, memorializing Summer right around that time. And, there was flowers at the swimming hole. Don B went there, and he seen the flowers. And then they had the little lights around Summer Swing, but they also had 2 flowers over there hidden on that grave underneath all that camouflage. There was 2 flowers over there as well. So, put it all together. The one place Summer loved to play, her favorite place was at that swing set. Because that's all she really had. That's all she really had was that swing to play on. And then the swimming hole, where, in my opinion, she was on live. And then there's flowers on top of that grave where we all believe she was buried. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. And then they're talking about a black tote. Nobody seen a black tote. There was 2 brown boxes by them milk jugs. There was no black tote. But Candace mentions a black tote. Well, we don't, and Hunter mentions totes, right? Remember, he mentions totes. And nobody knows where the black tote is. Nobody knows where Summer is, and nobody knows where that outfit she had on is as well. What it sounds like is they unlived her at the swimming hole is where she was unlived. She was took to Allison's house, and she was dressed in that school outfit because, that Candace wanted to show some type of fucking love, by putting her in her first day school outfit because she wasn't ever going to be able to go to school now. Right? So it would be meaningful, something meaningful she wanted to put her in. And then she goes back to Ben Hill Road, meets up with Chad Arnold. it sounds like at that point, Summer got dumped into this black tote, followed Chad Arnold over to Morrison Cemetery. And that's when Summer got put in the dirt. And the point for the black tote is because, you know, it wouldn't be seen under the dirt like that. And they put her in this tote so that those scent dogs or cadaver dogs could pick the smell up if they happened to go into that graveyard. There you go. So that's the purpose of the fucking tote. Right? Makes perfect sense to me. Makes perfect sense to me. You know, that's my opinion and what happened to this child. And I can't wait for law enforcement to get off their asses, get whatever needs to be done so they can go over there and find that tote and get Summer out of there and start putting these people in prison. That's, you know, that's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to tell you something. Andrew is threatening PG because Andrew knows I'm hitting home. He knows I'm hitting home, and he knows the minute they find Summer Moon Utah Wells, his boy is going to jail. Right? They ain't going to be no cards on the table to deal with anymore. Hunter had his time. Hunter actually had his opportunity to play the cards that were on the table with law enforcement. He had an opportunity to, you know, get some type of immunity or lesser sentencing or something by just coming out and telling the truth and exposing all these evil bastards. But he decided to play hard ass. He decided to try to be some little thug. And as soon as it all comes out, his ass is going to get, he's going to get more time than everybody put together. Because in my opinion, he's the one that did the dirtiest deed by taking this little girl out. That's my opinion. And his ass, nobody else killed. I mean, they might get in trouble for, you know, abuse of a corpse. They might get in trouble for tampering with evidence and you know, messing around and, you know, disturbing a case and some things like that, right? They might, you know, obstruction of justice and so forth and so on. You know what I'm saying? They may get a few months, a year, couple of years at the most. But that boy is the one who's going to be getting freaking life in prison, right? He's the one that's going to be going up hard time. Mother freaking 10 to 20. And to be honest with you, it might get worse than that. He may get worse than that. They might, you know, they might go for the gusto on him. Because, you know, due to, and they may look into, you know, then and at that time, you know, I'm sure that people's going to start calling to the court and the judges and all the people's attention about Allison and that other lady passing away the same way. And I think the medical records and everything is going to be looked into on that. So he might even get more than, you know, more than just Summer added to his ass, right? And they're going to, you know, and they're going to be like, you know, you wanted to live the thug life and you know, you're nothing but a danger and a threat to society. If you could do all of this, how much more would you have been doing had we not got you now? Right? How much more would you have done? I mean, it sounds like this kid has been on a roll. It's like he's been on a roll. Summer, then Leslie, then Allison. Who's next? Who is next? Right? Knowing, knowing his dad and him, I can only imagine what they're thinking in their mind about who's next. I don't fucking think so. Right? I don't think so. I'm not a 5-year-old fucking kid. And I sure in the hell ain't some old lady. Or a mom that made grave mistakes by not giving up her punk ass son when she should have. There you go. I'm going to tell you something. Hunter's ass couldn't even fight off that mother. Couldn't even fight off that freaking mother that attacked his ass and saved her baby, right? I'm going to tell you, anybody that will fight back, that coward loses against, right? Let it be a woman, let it be whoever. He loses if anyone's willing to fight back. He don't win. He likes to attack people that he feels or knows won't or can't fight back. That's my opinion on this boy. And my opinion on this boy is he done a very dirty deed for Candace Wells. And Candace Wells is a real piece of crap. Candace Wells, you guys heard the 911 call. You heard the 911 call, right? You heard it. You heard that 911 call. I'm going to tell you guys. I'm going to tell you what. If Summer could tell her story, if this little girl could tell her story, would it sound kind of like this? Mommy was so happy my hair was gone and I couldn't feel pretty anymore. I don't understand why Mommy and Daddy were doing this to me. I only understood my hair was gone and I wanted to hide from all the abuse, shame, and embarrassment they had put me through as far back as I could remember. My heart was truly broken, but I knew, and I know now, that God kept my spirit strong. Even to the end, God kept my spirit strong. God gave me enough enjoyable moments throughout all of this evilness to keep me going until June 15, 2021. Do you think God knew that they were going to totally destroy me that day? I didn't think I really knew until Hunter was sneaking up behind me in that water. It was scary at first, but then Jesus took my hand. We watched Hunter carry my body to Grandma's car, put it in her vehicle, where I was placed on a pillow next to the driver's side door, wet and unalive. Do you think that's kind of like what Summer's story would sound like if she was here to tell it? Put a 1 in the chat if you feel that would pretty much sound like Summer's story. What she would have to say, her side. Her side. It's really sad, ain't it? It's really sad. And I truly believe that's what happened. I truly believe that's what happened, you guys. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, this little girl was and is the victim. This little girl did not deserve what these evil beings did to her. And they do not deserve to get away with what they did to her. This country has laws. We have laws against people destroying innocent 5-year-old little children. We have laws against people using and abusing and putting little children through nothing but pure hell from the day they're born until they completely end up disappearing. We have laws, and those laws need to be followed. These people deserve to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law in this little girl's case. And people say, oh, you know, there's plenty of facts. There are plenty of facts. Fact is, all of these bastards are lying, and they're all lying for a reason, to cover their own damn asses, and we know it. That's fact. Fact is, that boy said that little girl was wet on a pillow next to the driver's side door when his ass went to Sonic's, when they went through Walgreens, when they went to the store. She was wet on that door, not being seen by anything or anyone until they got to his home and packed her in for Allison to help dress, clean up, dress, and make up and prop up on some milk jugs for a ride home. And then they pulled another stunt of a little video trying to cover their asses close to the house so they could spin the narrative that this child was abducted when they damn know she wasn't even alive on the milk jugs. That's my opinion. I will keep it, and I feel it's law enforcement's opinion too, because Ronnie Lawson said, what took you 4.5 fucking hours to call us? Common sense tells you that they believe she was unalived on the milk jugs as well. And they know that wherever they discarded her, it couldn't be too far because they wouldn't have had time to really get out of the area. They arrived back in there between 3:15 and 3:30. They had 3 hours before they called law enforcement. 3 hours. By the time Candace gaslighted the boys up and everything and went back off the hill, it was already 4:30, which gave them 2 hours. She was meeting up with Chad Arnold. Her and Chad came out of Ben Hill Road onto Beach Creek. She was back telling the boys that there's, where's your sister? Where's your sister? Somewhere a little after 5:30. So wherever she went, she was gone for about an hour, which would have been just enough time to go over to Morrison Cemetery and watch Chad Arnold dig a hole and cover it up. Cover the black tote up, right? To put that tote down in there, adjust it, and put enough dirt over it that it wouldn't be seen or found. Now she heads back. Old Chad goes wherever he's going, and she goes back on the hill, talks with Grandis for a few minutes, and goes in the house and starts gaslighting the boys like their damn sister was there. Right? Well, their sister wasn't. Their sister had done been taken off the hill by a good old mommy, down to Chad Arnold, over to, I believe, this is my opinion, Morrison Cemetery, and buried. The boys are outside looking for something that they won't ever find. And Don Wells has got a big grin on his face, that shitty little eating grin, telling everybody how he done such a good job of keeping his ass out of prison. He started driving a different vehicle. He fired his co-worker to blame it on. He had that vehicle, Starlink. He had his telephone. He had 7 alibis. Candace had none. She's going down. Yeah, if Summer's found, she is. Because she stayed back and she carried out all the dirty deeds. She went to the swimming hole with Hunter. Grandis was in on it too. Grandis said, let's use my leg to go into Kingsport and pick this boy up, sedate him up, and get him to go into that water and do the dirty deed. And that's what they did. And they dropped that kid off, used his home to clean Summer up, get her in that new outfit and prop her on milk jugs, and go back into Ben Hill Road to meet up with Chad Arnold. And I'm going to tell you, Andy Bernard had his hand into it too, because Chad Arnold wasn't calling Don Wells saying, hey, PG and a friend's up here inside of the cemetery. I'm looking for old Morson's grave. No. He was calling Andy Bernard, saying PG and PG's little friend is up here at the cemetery looking for Timothy's grave. Oh yeah, Timothy Morrison. They found it. Yep, they found it. Taking pictures of it right now. Right? Allison lied. Allison lied. Hey, PG, thought Allison said she asked Candace if she could see Summer, and Candace said no. I'm going to tell you, Allison lied her ass off. Allison didn't even walk that ass out to the car. They walked Summer up in that house. Well, actually carried her because she couldn't walk. What Hunter did is he got out of that vehicle lickety-split. He ran around. It wasn't to get no vapes. It wasn't to get no vapes from Candace. It was to get Summer and pack her into his house really quick. Allison was up on the porch with the door already open. She knew they were coming. I got a feeling that Hunter, they kept Hunter's phone because I think Hunter made a call to mommy. I think Hunter made a call to Mommy's house too. When Candace and Grandis was inside the store, I think old Hunter called Mommy. Now, law enforcement don't know what they talked about because phone calls ain't recorded. They should be. Every phone call ever made should be recorded. But there's no storage bank that big. But I think they know Hunter made a call to Mommy. They've got Candace texting Hunter that morning, hitting him up, and he was up waiting for it. Then he called Candace, and then Candace came to his house, and that's where everything unraveled. It was just a downhill slide for Summer at that point. Allison didn't ever go to that car. Allison was a fucking liar. Allison changed her story. Even on I had her up on my panel and she changed her story. I asked it, Allison. I asked it her myself. I said, how was Summer? How was Summer? Where was Summer in the car, in the vehicle when you went out there? She said she was laying against that driver's side door. Yeah, because she seen Hunter open that door and get her out. She was laying against that driver's side door, soaking wet, on a pillow, still in her bathing suit. Unalived, if you ask me. That's my opinion. And they took her in that house, and that's where makeup got put on her face, trying to cover up all that bruising. Man, you could clearly see bruising on both sides of her head. You could see, ain't no kid that turns that color without being unalived. I mean, death was already setting in all around her temples. She was already changing colors. Her fingernail beds were changing colors. This kid wasn't alive. I don't know what forensics was looking at those pictures, but if I was looking at them, I would have said, I don't think this kid's with us anymore. The fingernails are starting to turn blue, as you can see, damn near black. She's got all of this bruising already setting in. The face, it looks like there's makeup on here. There looks like there's a little lipstick right there below her lip. It looks like somebody cleaned her up and put some makeup on her, trying to hide some of what's already setting in. Yeah, if I had to say, I don't think she's with us. So I don't know who in the hell they had looking at those pictures. I'm not even, I'm not forensics. But I'm going to tell you something. I've seen enough bodies to tell you that one right there did not look like it's any longer with us. Just saying. I mean, that was common sense right there. That's common sense. You don't have to be, educated in forensics to see that. Right? Sometimes you don't have to be educated when you see an unlive person. One of her eyes, I believe it is the left eye is partially, it looks swollen. It looks swollen to the point that it's partially opened at the bottom. No, no, I do not work at a funeral home. Absolutely not. I think I'm more valuable in this world than that. But I'm from the hood, right? I'm from the hood. When you're from the hood, you see people falling over all the time, right? You see people fall over and you stand there and watch their eyes flip, right? They go from having pupils to just nothing but white, right? Because their eyes flipped. You have to actually put your hand on their face to cover that shit up, because it's scary looking. And you don't want to freak anybody else out. Some people can't handle seeing that stuff. Some people, they freak out. They're hollering, carrying on. They're scared. And you calm them down. You try to calm them down. They start to calm down. And they actually pass away with their eyes closed. You see a lot of stuff in the hood. At least I did. And I'm going to tell you, when someone passes away, it don't take but a few minutes. The most awfulest smell you ever smelled elopes the whole mother freaking area. It's bad. It is an odor you will not ever forget if you ever smell it. It's awful. And I do not know why they didn't take search dogs and cadaver dogs to Allison's house. Because they could have went to where Candace's vehicle was parked, and those search dogs would have went straight up into Allison's house. They'd have went straight up into her house. If they really had something with summer scent on it, those dogs would have went straight in that house. But cadaver dogs would have went straight into the house anyway. Because cadaver dogs are trained to smell death. They're trained to smell death, decomposition. Unlike, search dogs go after scent. Cadaver dogs go after the smell of death. And they would have went right up into her house. And why that wasn't done, I don't know. But it sounds like law enforcement didn't want to solve this case. And you might want to ask yourself why. Why did Hawkins County not want to do what it took to solve Summer Moon Utah Wells case? I don't know. Maybe they weren't that smart. Maybe they didn't think about it, right? Maybe they didn't think about it. Maybe that was the damn problem. Because I don't think Allison was going to be smart enough to fucking bleach her porch. I don't think she's going to be smart enough to go out and bleach her porch and her sidewalks all the way out to the road. I don't think she was going to be that smart. I don't think she, I think she was too lazy, to be honest with you. I don't think she would have thought about it. And even if she did, she'd be too lazy to do it. They were not that smart to try to cover, the scent, especially outside, especially from the road to her door. Maybe inside of her house, yes, but not from the road to the door. And from the road to the door would have allowed law enforcement to know Summer was taken in there. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me. The ball was dropped. The ball was dropped in every damn corner I can think of on Summer's case. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep that.
The dude was buried on what day? The 18th? Okay, so
Andy Bernard knows, boy, honey, he's got them dates down, right? And that makes me believe Summer's in that cemetery too. Because this mother freaker right here, he knows the numbers. Anytime somebody knows the fucking numbers, I mean, this dude acts like he can't remember what happened 5 minutes ago, right? But this motherfucker remembers those dates. He remembers those dates to a T, baby.
okay, so 3 days after Summer went missing, they buried that dude. Do you think they dug the grave the day that Summer went missing? I'm saying it was dug between the day the dude died and the day Summer went missing, the 11th. Not.
He knew the day the dude died. He said on the 11th. The dude died on the 11th, buried on the 18th. He knew that grave was dug. They knew the grave was dug. I know they knew the grave was dug because that's the very day they picked. That's the very day they picked to, to do what they was doing. I don't believe that grave was dug on the 15th. I think that grave was dug on the 14th. I think it was dug on the 14th. I think the day Dobbs came up there, that grave was already been dug. And I think they had already was ready to put her there. I think when Don Wells fired his coworker, changed up the vehicle real fast, and fired his coworker, I believe that's when they already seen the opportunity where to put her so she wouldn't be found. That's my opinion. Because this was all premeditated and carried out. This is actually a premeditated case. That means it would carry heavier sentences because it was premeditated.
What if she went over there on the 15th when Candace left at some point in time off that fucking hill, took her over there? Maybe she went to Fred's and Fred helped her. If it was on the 15th, all she would have had to do is go over there and dig down just a little bit more, put her in there, cover her back up. When they brought the vault in a few days before they buried the dude, the concrete vault would have been set on top of it, and nobody would have known no different. And we know.
Wow. Oh, Andy had it all figured out, right? He had it all figured out. Yeah. And he had Chad all set up to meet Candace to get it carried out as well. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. I think old Andy Bernard had his hands all dirty up in this. He had his hands all dirtied up in a little 5-year-old innocent child's disappearance. What the freak, right? Wow. These motherfuckers, you talk about the low of the low, right?
Who dug
Honey, it ain't the prices. It ain't the prices at no Kroger's. It's a fucking Ben Hill gang. That's the lows.
the graves? We know all that shit. So I don't think nobody would have paid any attention to if she was done in there the day of the 15th.
There you go. There you go. He said, you know, that bitch ass Candace brought her ass off that hill and, you know, and took it right over there. He wanted to blame Fred instead of Chad, right? He wanted to blame Fred instead of Chad. He's probably afraid of that Chad. That Chad hangs around with some real undesirable fucking people, right? Some real undesirable people. So, you know, he's afraid to throw Chad's ass under the bus. But he's all for throwing Fred under the bus, right? Now, you know, maybe Fred deserves to be thrown under a bus, right? Maybe he does. I mean, he's sitting over there letting, you know, Ziggy Wiggy with their spinning fucking pots on the stove and talk shit about PG, right? Want to talk shit about me, trying to say that my fucking husband's name or my boyfriend's name or somebody's name's Alfred, right? What the hell? Who in the fuck would be dating somebody named mother freaking Alfred? Right? I'm like, what the hell? Ain't that what she said? Wasn't it fucking Alfred? I'm like, nah. I'm going to tell you something. If a dude came up to me and said, hey, sexy, my name's Alfred, I would be like, yeah, and you need to get your outfit the hell out of here, right? Because I don't be dating people with names like that. You know, I don't think so. Not today. That's weird. I mean, that's like a mother freaking butler's name or a chauffeur's name, right? I mean, I think I watched an old movie, The Egg and I, right? It's The Egg and I. Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen that old movie, An Egg and I. I think that's the name of it. It's got Mom and Pa Kittle play in it. Anyway, it's about some guy taking his old lady and moving way out into the boondocks with her, and you know, to this really falling down place. And there's this old woman, you know, she makes a home into this shack. The woman that, you know, and her husband make a home in this shack, and kind of looks like fucking Ben Hill Road. But anyway, a lot better people, a lot nicer people hanging around though. And yeah, Alfred Hitchcock too, right? Yeah, I've seen some of those old movies too. But in The Egg and I, there's this old lady, and she somehow ends up in this woman's house. And she's talking, and she wants her to give Alfred a cup of coffee too. Only Alfred's a ghost, right? Alfred's a ghost. Nobody can see Alfred but this old woman. And she's like, come on, Alfred. It's time to leave. I'm like, what the fuck? She trying to say that I'm seeing some guy named Alfred? I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, this is the shit people put on me, right? They call me Dusty Butt fucking Margaret. They freaking say I'm boyfriend up or freaking married up to some Alfred dude. I'm like, well, you know, What the fuck? And Alfred, like how do you gotta be to be named Alfred? Right? I think people are, putting out way better names in 2025 than freaking Alfred. Like that's some like freaking 100-year-old name or something, right? That is just like really weird. And she's over there lying like, I know I heard PG slip and tell Fred her boyfriend's name was Alfred. I'm like, what? Oh hell no, you didn't. You better mother freaking ask Fred again, because ain't PG ain't saying no shit like that to Fred. That is weird. Matter of fact, I don't even think I talked to Fred about my fiance or any of my personal business at all. I talked to Fred about Summer and Summer's case and the people around Summer's case and everything else, right? It has nothing to do with no fucking Alfreds. Matter of fact, Fred don't even talk to me about Ziggy. He don't talk to me, about none of that, about the spinning pots and the fucking horrible food. He don't tell me no shit about none of that. When I talk to him, we don't talk about personal shit. I ain't trying to hook up with no fucking Fred. He ain't trying to hook up with me. There ain't nobody be talking about personal shit. We be talking about the case, trying to, I'm trying to get answers for this little girl, right? As much as I can for her. I'd talk to the freaking devil if he could give me some information on Summer, right? Come on. That's bullshit. Yeah, this is the stuff I gotta put up with. I gotta get up every fucking day, put up with this kind of shit that keeps me awake at night, right? Like I can't go to sleep. I'm afraid the fucking Alfred's going to be standing over my bed, right? Some fucking ghost, some 100-year-old ghost named Alfred. Like, ain't you my girlfriend? Like, what the fuck? You need to get out of here, Alfred. Go to the light. Go to the light, right? This is weird shit. Like, yeah. This is what I put up with every fucking day. Just saying. This is a fucking hard knock life, right? This is a hard knock life, you guys. Freaking Annie had it right. Only problem is, I can't find my Daddy Warbucks. Wish I could. But you heard Andy right there. I think she's in Morrison Cemetery. I'm not afraid to say it. He has to be a little intimidated or he wouldn't have said that he ain't afraid. He had somebody in mind that he was afraid of when he said he wasn't afraid. Yeah, no Alfred's allowed around here. That's right. I mean, I don't, I have to ask myself, I'm like, where in the hell do people come from like Ziggy? Where the hell does she come from? Right? Where the fuck does Fred come from? Where does these people come from? I don't even know. I mean, like, I bet Andrew don't even know who his real mama is. That little worm's coming out of so many different people's backsides, right? He probably don't even know who his real mama is. I mean, I heard that even Day Day dropped him off in an outhouse, right? That's what I heard. He'd be coming out everybody's backside, right? He'd be coming out so many backsides he don't even know who originally had him. Freaking worm. That's just my opinion. I'll keep that one too. Yeah, she did. She had two outfits. One pink and one peach. And that pink one was the one Summer obviously picked to go to, start first day school in. Candace said that Summer loved purple and pink. Purple's Candace's favorite color. Merlina Crawford told me that purple was Summer's birthstone, but her favorite color was pink. And it just so happens that, Candace puts her in a pink first day school outfit, after swimming, when usually those kids, sit on a damn pillow wet all the way back home. Only this day, Summer is soaking wet on a pillow against the door till they got to Allison's house. And then, she gets put into a beautiful school outfit and made, her face all made up and propped up on a bunch of milk jugs, and you can clearly see that, somebody grabbed her hat to adjust her on that milk jug. They used that hat to prop her, because it's all pulled to one side. You could clearly see that, they had her belted in super, super freaking tight. I mean, that belt was, almost cutting into her lower part, across her stomach to hold her in there. That was really pulled super tight, just to be seatbelting a kid in. And they didn't care about her being seatbelted. They didn't care about no seatbelt being on her. When they picked Granny up from the fucking hospital, they didn't worry about no seatbelt being on her. When Hunter was sitting all in the middle and she was laying against that damn door over there, they didn't seem to worry about no seatbelts until they needed one to hold her in place after they propped her all up. And they also, if you take a look at the picture, the one milk jug is actually wedged in to hold her, to hold her in place. They got it stuck between, the bottom milk jug is stuck between a box that they put on the floor and then wedged against Summer's arm to hold her in. There's no way she could have ever lifted it over her head because it has her arm wedged in there to hold her back. And then they also have the milk jug that her head's on, smashed underneath another box, to hold it in place for her to be able to be propped the way she was. They spent some time. They spent some time busting that stuff around and wedging her in there the way they had her before they pulled away from Allison's house. That's, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. Exactly. They was both wet. H was wet. H wanted to, and that's another reason that that's where Summer became unlived. Then that's another reason how she was unlived at the swimming hole, because H wanted to, only make Summer wet and not himself. We clearly watched him go into the water. He was going to, he wanted to spin a narrative that, put him out of the water and only Summer in it. And why would you want to spin that narrative unless you done something evil? Unless that's where she was unlived. I mean, there is so many facts in this case that I think it already could have been prosecuted, and these people could have already been put in prison. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep that too. You know, something ain't right. Something's not right in Summer's case. Something's not right, and it's wrong. It's wrong. You know, all I got to say is God be with these evil human beings that done such an evil deed against an innocent 5-year-old child. You know, I heard that, you know, from what I hear is, you know, you shed innocent blood, you'll run to the bottomless pit. Let not one be spared. Summer was innocent. She was an innocent 5-year-old little girl. So, you know, I wouldn't want to shed no innocent blood. I wouldn't want to be doing that. It says, you know, let not one be spared. You know, it's bad enough that you would have to, you know, be forced to unlive someone out of fear for your own safety. You know, it would be bad enough that you would have to do that. You would have to do that to protect yourself or your family against, you know, an evil being that was trying to, you know, overtake you or hurt you, or if you felt your life was in danger. You know, it would be bad enough having to do this. But to do something, you know, to just do something that you should not have done, you know, to just go out there and unlive an innocent person that has not ever did a damn thing to you, nothing to you. You know, you're just unliving them for self-gain, or out of jealousy or hatred or dislike. You're sick. You're a sick fucking human being, and deserve to go where, you know, to go wherever God puts you. You deserve that. No one has a right to take anyone else's life. You have no right. Their life is their life. You have no right hurting or trying to destroy any other human being. You need to work and get your own. You need to carve the hatred and the jealousy and the envy the hell out of your ass and start being happy for other people and being kind and caring and winning that white robe. You need to learn how to make your own and quit freaking trying to overpower and overtake something that someone else worked their ass off to get. And even if they didn't work their ass off, if they got it, it's theirs, and it's not yours. Go get your own. Go get your own. These people are really disgusting. I personally believe that Cotton Simpson was taken out of this world because someone seen an opportunity to make some self-gain. I believe Cotton Simpson had money that they wanted, and they decided to destroy him to get it. That's my opinion when it comes to Cotton Simpson. That was his money. He worked for that retirement. He already did a stretch in jail. He just barely got his freedom back. He had every right to enjoy it, but somebody decided to take it away from him permanently that time. Permanently. It wasn't theirs to take. And no amount of money on this earth is worth ending up in hell for. Cotton Simpson was an innocent human. He was innocent as Summer was, because he done nothing to deserve someone destroying him the way he was destroyed. He done nothing to nobody to deserve that. The person who destroyed him is just an evil piece of freaking shit. And that's my opinion, and I will keep it. They deserve to be put in prison for the rest of their life for destroying that man. You've got some real evil human beings up there on Ben Hill Road. Some super evil human beings. Trust and believe me. They do not value their own life, let alone anyone else's. If you valued your life, you wouldn't be sticking illegal substance in your damn system. Right? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. If you valued your life, you wouldn't be sticking illegal substances in your own system. You wouldn't be doing that shit. People who value their lives don't do that. And if you don't value your own life, you can't value no one else's. If you don't like yourself, you can't love or like anyone else. I'm going to tell you, life is like a giant mirror. You're only going to get back what you put out. If you like yourself, you're able to like others. If you can love yourself, you can love others. If you can, if you care about your own health, you can care about other people's. If you care about your life, you can care about other lives. It's all about getting back what you put out. And people don't want, the problem is people don't want to take the time to put it out. People don't want to take the time to look good. They don't want to take the time to really care. They don't want to take the time to be healthy, wealthy, and well. People, they want to get up with their hair sticking up, and they want to hate everybody else because everybody else brushed their hair. Right? That's what you got going on in this world. Oh, look at that bitch. She brushed her hair today. My hair would look good too. My hair would look better than that if I brushed it. Well, fucking brush it so you can like yourself and quit hating on everybody else. Right? There you go. That's the fucking answer. Only you're not smart enough to understand that. Yeah, that's what's going on in this world. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah. It's like, like you see those people that, people come out of their house and they smile and their mother freaking teeth look like the fucking caution light, right? Their teeth look like that damn caution light. And you're like, whoa, what the fuck? You've been eating cheese for the last 30 years, right? Look like you've been eating cheese for the last 30 years. And they'd be like, oh, look at that girl. Look at her with those big white teeth thinking she's somebody. Why, she fucking owns a toothbrush. Why don't you try getting one? Why don't you try to go to the dentist? They give you a free one with some toothpaste, right? So you could start having white teeth too. What the hell's the problem? You got to put something into it to get it back. Your teeth ain't going to brush themselves. Your hair isn't going to brush its own. That's why God gave you 2 freaking hands, right? And 2 feet. So your ass could walk to the bathroom and pick up your mother freaking brush and brush your hair, hook up your hot iron, fix your damn hair, put on some freaking makeup. Get out of them mother freaking jeans that look like they can stand up by themselves in a corner and put some clean ones on. And you could look good too. Stop hating on everybody that puts the time into it and reaps the benefits from it. Right? Just stop it. Hey, Abigail, I appreciate it, girl. PD, you should be a life coach. I'd hire you. I heard that, girl. I heard that. Right now, I wish I had time to be a life coach. I wish I had time between my job and my kids and all of this. I want to tell you something. I need more hours just to sleep, right? I need more hours just to get some sleep. I run on about 4 to 5 hours sleep a day. I really do. And I'll do that. I can run like that for a while. But I'm going to tell you what, it catches up with me. It catches up with me, and then I have to, take a break. I got to take a break. I got to shut everything down and try to sleep and try to get as much rest as I can over the weekends and stuff to be able to go like that again. And I'm going to tell you, my ass is feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm not going to lie. I don't know when I became my parents, but yeah, I'd be getting up out of bed, man, places hurting I didn't even know I had. I'm like, what the hell is that? I'd be Googling it. Like, what the hell is here and what the hell is there? Right? Hey, I'm going to tell you, I don't think I'm alone. I think other people be doing it too. But I'm like, shit. What's going on, right? I didn't even know I had those places. I'd be all happy when I find out there ain't nothing there, I'd be Googling, why do I got pain? Why do I got pain in the front of my head? And Google be like, that's a headache, but I don't think you have to worry about it because, people with headaches have to have a brain, PG, and you don't got one. I said, what? I'm like, Google, you're not my best friend no more. Keep talking like that, I won't be Googling no more. Yeah, wow. Sorry to hear that, Rhonda. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, always heard you can't burn the candle at both ends for very long, right? But I'm giving it one hell of a try. Right? They might put me in that book. That book, what is it called? The Book of Genesis or something, for being able to burn both ends of the candle the longest. There you go. I'd be burning it. Whoa. Dang. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to try to get more sleep. I'm going to try to get more sleep. Yeah. That's, like I'll get real tired. Usually in the evening, like when, I'm cooking dinner and feeding up all the kids and stuff, I'll get real tired. Like, I just want to go, lay down somewhere, sit down, lay down, just want to rest for a while. And by the time, I clean up the dishes and sweep up the kitchen and get the kid's uncle to run out the trash or something, I'm wide awake again. I'm wide awake, right? I'm up, right, wide awake again and ready to go, till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, damn, this can't be normal. Cause I was freaking ready to hit the sack, at 6:30. And I'm right awake, again. I don't know. I don't even know what's up with that. I'm like, go figure. I would think that, I'd have been able to do that in my younger days. But in my younger days, if I partied till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, man, you didn't see my ass until 1 o'clock in the day, right? I was sleeping till 1 o'clock in the day. And then I'd get up, take a shower and, do whatever I had to do, usually go to work, and then, come home, take another shower, and I was out partying again, right? This time to go out and party again till 2 or 3 in the morning, and then you didn't see me again. I mean, I couldn't even do this shit in my young adulthood, teenage and young adulthood. I couldn't do it. I don't know what the hell's up with this, all of a sudden going 24/7 type stuff. That's weird. Somebody said, something about insomnia. I don't know. I don't even know what that is. I'm going to have to, research up on that insomnia shit. I think it's something about not being able to sleep or something. I don't know, but I haven't done my research on that one. I've heard people say it. I've heard people say, I got insomnia. I'm like, take some NyQuil. Right? I heard that shit put you to sleep. I don't know. I don't take it, but I know people that did. Man, they swore by that stuff. I don't like nothing. I don't like nothing gonna put me to sleep. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to research into it. I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm dealing with that or not. I don't even know how old you got to be to have it. Right? I got to Google. I got to start Googling again. Yeah, get your own content, Pandu. Why does people call him Pandu? Where did that name even come from? I would think that it would be more like, puke. Like, they should call him Pan Puke. Somebody hand me a pan so I can puke. Right? There you go. Or even better, they should call him Pan Poop. All right, because shit's always coming out of his mouth. He's always got shit coming out that mouth. Matter of fact, it's so bad coming out his mouth. The 3 teeth he's got left, the 3 or 4. I think he might have 3 or 4. I seen a couple of teeth in there, but they were the color of, the color the last time I took a dump, right? That's the color of his teeth. I'm like, damn. Last thing I needed, the first thing this morning was to look at the toilet bowl and reminded of the same color Andrew's teeth are. Right? That was the last thing I needed, the first thing this morning. I was about to walk out on myself. Right? I'm going to tell you, looking at that dude can fuck up your fragile little mind. That is the truth. Yeah. The dude keeps cutting himself. He must not, like his hair. He keeps cutting himself bald-headed. He does. He keeps cutting himself bald-headed. And all I want to do is, draw. I want to just draw like these eyeballs and nose and mouth on the top of his head. So when he looks down, you can still see a face. Cracks me up. I'm like, dang. And he keeps rubbing his head. And that dude's always itching. He came on today and he was like scratching himself and shit. He was like, I'm like, oh my gosh, what the fuck is wrong with him? And he was itching up so much. Do you know how like somebody yawns? You know how someone yawns and then all of a sudden you feel like you got a yawn? Well, it's the same way with itching, right? You see somebody scratching and scratching and scratching, and then all of a sudden, and you start feeling itchy or something. It's like, you got to stop watching this mother freaker because they're making you all itchy too and shit. And it's like, whoa, I got beep, beep, beep. I got to back out of this one. Yeah, he was doing that stuff. He was like all itching himself, like one time he came on the panel talking and he had this blanket over his legs and he kept reaching down in there like scratching, like really freaking, digging the hell out of something. I was like, what the fuck is going on there? What is this dude doing? I mean, he was really getting at it too, right? He was getting at it. I'm like, jeez, I can't even be watching this stuff, I don't even think like, whoa, that stuff was too graphic. Yeah. I mean, that dude needs to get some flea spray or something. That is just awful. He's always be itching. And then, he needs to put a shirt on, right? He needs to put a shirt on that mother freaking skinny ass, girly looking body of his. It's like, whoa, right? He looks like he needs a freaking training bra and everything else. I'm like, dude, you really need to cover that shit up because it'd be looking nasty. It's just sagging and dragging, and it's like, whoa, that does not, that ain't appealing at all. He got all those wrinkled up ass tattoos, them ass saggy ass tattoos. I'm like, whoa. Yeah, it's hard to look at. It is really hard to look at. It's, I mean, he's what, maybe 90 pounds soaking wet? If you held him up to the light, you could see through him. It's like, whoa. And, a freaking old bag of bones. He got that big old stomach, right? He's got that big ass stomach, that pot belly stomach, and the old saggy ass chest. And it's like, whoa. I don't even know. That bull head, a few teeth left in his mouth, trying to talk shit. I was like, dude, you need to go see a dentist. Yeah, he's probably got scabies and body lice. He got something going on. That shit's just scary. Right? I don't even know. I've got mother freaking OCD already. I'm a germophobic and shit. I can't watch stuff like that. It'd be messing with me. The only thing I don't know what be swinging on Andrew. I don't know what be swinging on Andrew other than the, them freaking saggy lips he's got. The only thing I see swinging up and down is his old dirty freaking lips. Everything else is just sagging and dragging. Why do Andrew have kids and cats in his house? The kids I could understand. The cats he terrorizes. Probably terrorizes the kids too, I don't know. But definitely the cat. I mean, he's got this one cat, man, that he forces that cat to be making out with him and shit. The cat be trying to get away, and he's just like holding on to it. And the cat, and like looking crazy. I'm like, whoa. This guy's got some issues going on with that cat. But then again, I saw his old lady, and, I'm like, well, if that's the only fucking two choices you had, right? I don't know. Hell, report it. Shit, he reports it himself in front of everybody in the world, right? He's on a live. He's like out here on a live. Mother freaking, squeezing the freaking cat till his tongue pops out so he can lick on it. That's disgusting. Who in the hell does that? Who squeezes a cat till its damn tongue pops out so they can lick it? That's disgusting. That's the shit he does too. I seen it. I think everybody else saw it too. It's true. It's the truth. Shit, I ain't got no reason to lie, right? I ain't got no reason to lie. Why the hell would I lie about something as stupid as that? I seen him do it. A panda group? You know what? Andrew can play my words any way he wants, because I'm going to tell you something. Those people in his chat listening, they know exactly what's being said. No matter what kind of spin he wants to put on it, they all have their own brains and they all can hear the truth for themselves. And the truth is, Andrew's an evil bastard and his son's evil too. They're both mother freaking evil. His son tried to take a freaking lady's vehicle away from her with a baby in it. Was he after the vehicle or the baby? This mother had to fight with everything she had to keep that piece of shit from getting away with her child. What was he going to do? What was he going to do? And also, you know, his son attacked a little girl out in the middle of the street as well. He attacks little girls. He tries to attack women at gas stations with children in the vehicle. You know, this boy has been nothing but a nightmare at a very young age. He was groomed. He was groomed by very evil people like Don and Candace Wells. He was introduced to a lot of sinister shit way too young. And his dad and I'm going to tell you, I truly believe, I blame Andrew for what happened to Allison, because Andrew, has always talked against Allison to Hunter. He has always tried to make that boy dislike and hate his own mother. Andrew always sat around, and he still does, put Allison down, put Allison down, put Allison down. Andrew always wanted to put Allison down for doing what that son of a bitch wouldn't and couldn't do. And that's raise their son. Allison worked and she did everything that Andrew didn't want to do. Andrew wanted to play daddy, but not pay daddy. Andrew wants to reap all the benefits of doing nothing, while Allison did everything. And he taught that boy to have no respect for his own mother. And I think that has a lot to do with why his boy robbed Allison of her rent money and had an altercation with his mother over his bad behavior, and possibly the reason that Allison is no longer here with us, because she got hit so hard it put her into a coma that took her out of this world. And that came out of Andrew's mouth himself, that he believes Hunter possibly unlived Leslie and Allison too. That came out of his own mouth. I have it on recording. And if Hunter did do such a dirty deed to his mother, well, he did it because his daddy didn't ever teach him to have any respect for anyone, to be honest, but especially for Allison, because Andrew was too fucking jealous of all of Allison's accomplishments and being able to do what he couldn't, work and raise her son. That's my opinion. So you know what? Andrew could kiss the backside of PG's ass, right? There you go. Pucker up and freaking kiss where the sun don't shine. There you go. Oh, I'm not going to strike him. I'm not going to strike him because you know why I won't strike him? It's not because I'm worried of anything with that little freaking snake that looks like he crawled out from underneath a rock. The reason I don't strike anyone, and I haven't ever striked anyone. And the reason I don't, because, you know, for one, Andrew don't know how YouTube works. I could strike his ass and he wouldn't get a lick of information because I know that's what he's, you know, hollering and screaming he could do. No, you don't. You don't get a lick of nobody's information. It don't work like that. I don't strike anybody's ass because when they're playing this content on their lives, it's getting Summer's name out there. It's getting Summer Moon Utah Wells' name out there. It's getting out some of the real facts in this case, and there is facts in this case. It's opening the eyes of these people to how evil those people was that surrounded Summer. How evil Allison and her family was. How evil Grandis, Candace, and Donald was. How evil, you know, Fred and Laura really was. How evil the freaking Andy and Jody Sue was. How evil the Light brothers were and all of these other people surrounding this little girl. All of these people, Chad Arnold's and Marlena Crawford's and her brother and, you know, all of these people. It's getting out how much evil surrounded this one innocent little girl and how none of them gave a damn, and they still don't give a damn, and they're playing games and they're lying and they're not telling any truth because that truth would probably put a hell of a lot of them in prison because they all had their hands dirty in whatever was going on up there on Ben Hill Road. Now, you know what? Jody Sue said, go ask Andy what he was given Candace to sedate those little girls, not just Summer, but other little girls too. And we know there's a lot of little girls up on that hill. So we got a damn good idea what was going on and why Summer had to be destroyed. And people need to hear it. People need to hear it for Summer's sake because she's still missing. She's the real victim and she needs to be brought home and justice served against these evil bastards that could do such an evil deed to not just Summer, but all of those little girls that was getting sedated and touched. Now, that's my opinion. I will keep it. And let us remember that Andrew's an evil piece of shit too. He was up there. He was up there at a storage unit. And according to Allison, they were 6 or 7 adults and about 17, anywhere from 17 to 19 children. Now we know they don't have, that Andrew and them don't have no fucking 16, 17, 18, 19 children. We know they don't have that many children. So where did all of these children go that they had up there at that storage unit? Where did half the adults go that they had up there at that storage unit? Why don't Andrew start answering those questions? Why doesn't Andrew answer why Jose wasn't willing to go back with them. Why did he run off with his tail between his legs and not want to make, not want anything else to do with these people? They had to been doing something for Jose to run like that. Just saying. Andrew's got a lot of explaining to do. He went up there, lied about even having a place. He couldn't even tell you the address. He couldn't even tell you the fucking address or the landlord's name to the place that he wasn't able to get. Because it didn't exist. It didn't exist. And like he said, he was only in Tennessee 4 or 5 hours and his ass was on the road heading back to New York. And his ass was heading back to New York to the exact same place he lived because they didn't give it up. They were just making a haul. And what the hell was they hauling? Because Summer Moon Utah Wells is missing. You ever think that maybe Andrew has a big dog in this race too? And it might be more. It might be more than just his boy. Right? There you go. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. And for somebody that don't know Andy Bernard told, you seen the message. He told Andrew to get a hold of him, email me. Well, how are you going to email somebody if you don't fucking know them? So obviously they knew each other. And this is the shit they've been playing from day one on Summer's case. Like they all didn't know each other. They seem to know each other pretty damn well, if you ask me. That's my opinion. And they sure have been kissing, especially, it ain't Andy kissing Andrew or Pandu or Pan shit or whatever it is. Backside. It's freaking Andrew kissing Andy's. It seems like everybody's kissing Andy's. Like Dom Wells seems to be puckering up for Andy. Candace puckers up for Andy. They all seem to pucker up for Andy. You got Chad Arnold puckering up for Andy. Right? Chad Arnold's calling Andy about who's over at the cemetery. Dom Wells calling Andy about, the Mr. Dobbs at the bottom of his property. You got all these people sucking up to old Andy. Well, I'm going to tell you, he don't look good enough to me to fucking suck up to, but they're sucking up to him for some reason. So what the hell's he doing? What's his game? Has anybody thought about that? Because Andrew's got his lips out as well. They all got their lips out. Even Hunter had his lips out. If you took note, Allison was going to where Andy worked. She had her lips out. They all seem to have their lips out for Andy Bernard, right? And I'm going to tell you something. I saw him pull his shirt up. I saw his thong hanging out. And it didn't look that damn good to me. It looked kind of disgusting, to say the least. That dude right there, you want to talk about Dunlap? He Dunlapped over his mother freaking britches. That shit was all hanging low. If anybody in the world needed some belly tuck, that dude right there should have been first in line. That's just my opinion. That was like one of the nastiest ass cracks I ever seen. and the thong hanging out of it, whoa, that threw it over the edge. Could you only imagine that? And Andrew must have seen it too. And he was hoping that Andy would pull it off, swing it around, and probably land it right on his face. And I was sure to hell hoping it would happen too. Right? I really was. I was thinking about praying for it. But it might not be a good prayer to send up. Just saying. That's disgusting. It's disgusting. But there they are. There they are. They're the happy little couple right now. They're happy little couple. Maybe, maybe Andy, maybe Andy wants Andrew to sit on his belly and help button his britches. I don't know. Something going on. We're just trying to figure it out. We're just trying to figure it out, you guys. But if those people over in Andrews had any brains, I'm going to tell you what. Today is today. Today is today. Right? The Lord said, come as you are. Today is today. That cesspool over there, they better start walking towards the light and get the hell out of all that darkness. That's all I got to tell them. That is one place. If the Lord came right now, that's the last place I want to be, is over there in his chat. That is one sinister ass mother freaker. That's like already it's like already being caught in hell. Right? Just saying. That is not the place to be. Yeah. Ain't that the truth? Yeah. I don't care. I don't care about none. I don't care about none of them worthless freaking humans. They're a waste of space, if you ask me. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. A waste of mother freaking skin and bones. And I don't give a flying fuck about none of them. I really don't. What I care about is Summer Moon, Utah Wells, and the truth. The truth that is going to bring her home and get justice for her. And that's all that anyone else should be worried about. His chat over there ain't supposed to be here for anything other than this little girl and the well-being of her being found, brought home, and justice served against the evil bastards that did this to her. And I'm going to tell you what. It's my opinion that his old boy Hunter, went out there behind this little girl and done a horrible thing for Candace Wells. He did a horrible thing to Summer for Candace Wells, who groomed him, who was his first piece of booty, from what I'm understanding. His first piece of booty had him out there doing some duties, right? Daddy, I'm going to tell you now. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. If that boy was capable of sleeping with Candace Wells, then he was capable of doing anything, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you got to be capable of doing anything to sleep with that. Mother freaking Benny Keys. Like, oh my gosh, this is a hood rat. Right? He's a hood rat. And he was running away from it. Yeah, think about that, you guys. Think about it. That boy couldn't have been right in the head if he was sleeping with that. Something wrong with that kid. Just saying. I don't put nothing past Andrew's son. Hunter is not a good boy. He's not a good boy. He's not educated. He's not, he's none of the things that in the picture they want to try to paint of him. That boy is a mother freaking nightmare and a damn problem. And one, in my opinion, that should be locked away from society so he doesn't end up hurting or destroying anyone else, in my opinion. He should have been locked away after trying to get that woman's baby in that vehicle. Those are the people we don't need in our society. Because if they will, if they do it once, they'll do it again. And according to Andrew, Hunter took out Leslie and Allison. And if Andrew's right about his son being able to take out Leslie and Allison, then why are we shocked that he would take out Summer? Why are we shocked? Right? I'm not shocked at all. I think that's where it all started. I think it all started with what Candace had him do at the swimming hole. And I think that he liked the adrenaline rush. He liked all the attention. And I think that he seeked that attention again through Leslie, and he seeked it again through Allison. And who knows who he's going to try to seek some attention through, destroy and seek attention through when it comes to the next victim. We don't know who it's going to be. But it sounds like he's on a roll. That's my opinion too. Right? How come you're not mad at Candace for being with your 14-year-old son? Does it matter to you how come you and Allison didn't have her arrested? Right? They didn't have nobody arrested for violating their son in that way. And they didn't have nobody arrested for giving their son illegal stuff and substances because they're piece of shit parents that don't give a damn about their kids to begin with. That's why. They're those type of parents that, that don't care what their kids do. They don't care what their kids do. They're busy being, gross and disgusting themselves. Look at Andrew. Look at Allison. Allison was up there at Candace's house, climbing all over some guy she just barely met, had no idea, where he came from, where he was going. She didn't care. She just climbing all over it. These people were nasty. They were nasty. H should hear Andrew's words about him. Play it for H, PG.
No, he ain't married to her, and he's been lying about the pregnancy. I mean, listen, I'm very upset with him. I got nothing nice to say about him, and every time I talk about him, I get really evil and say some really, really evil things. He played me, PG, hard. He played me hard to the point where I'm taking the fall for this, and it's like, dude, you're not getting it. I'm showing. That's why he's in the system. Is because of his actions. I mean, the whole car thing about him stealing a car with a baby in it. I don't believe none of that. I do believe that he tried to rob somebody for vapes, and that fell through. I mean, the reason why he's in the system is because he's hanging out with the wrong people, doing the wrong shit, and he doesn't listen. Oh yeah. And instead he tried to get more money off the people. It's like, no, bro. And then on top of that, come to find out, dude ain't even his girl ain't even pregnant. So it's all. So that was a lie. That I was. Yeah. Yep. She ain't even knocked up at all. So this whole time, dude's been bombarding my whole family for money, this, that, and everything else. It's like, dude, if you're this broke, how'd you get that new tattoo? But I'm saying, how is she How is she over two? How is she a little over $2,000 in the hole on rent when her rent's $915? But here's the thing. Everybody's like, oh well, you gave them a platform. It's your fault. I mean, I'll take blame that I gave them a platform to speak. But I honestly thought I was actually really fucking pissed off and upset about the whole situation. And then I knew what he was. He tried playing this shit in 2018 within the family. The first year he came up here, after 5 years of being missing from my family, from my part of the family, he tried playing that same game between me and my mom. And then, I mean, I found out that he took my.
Why don't you shut up over there, Andrew, and let people hear what you have to say about your own son? You want to play PG stuff out? Well, let the people over there listen to it. Let them listen. You know what? Since you don't want to let them listen, let me tell you something, Andrew. They're more than welcome to come over here and listen. They are more than welcome to come to the righteous side, where the people are for the victim and not for scum buckets like you. You are talking because you don't want them to know or hear the truth. You're afraid of the truth, and you're afraid of the truth getting into their ears. So why don't you shut up and let them hear what you're saying? Let them hear some real truth.
Mom's money, but I didn't think nothing of it, because I didn't hear nothing more about it. And I even told Allison, listen, I understand he's your one and only, but you need to turn him in. And she did. And I'm not trying to put blame, but Allison messed up there by not turning him in for stealing her money. I mean, I'm raised to where listen, you get one and that's it. If you go to jail, I'll bail you out once. After that, you're on her rent money right out of her purse. And the messed up part about it is, it don't matter if it's a BB gun or a gun or a gun. The boy ain't supposed to have it being in the system. No, well,
there you go. The boy's in the system. This good old boy is in the system. Oh, sounds to me like he ain't so good, Andrew. Out of your own mouth. Out of your own mouth.
You can own a BB gun at 16. But your parents are supposed to keep it with a gun lock on it and in a.
Your boy ain't responsible. He ain't responsible enough to even have even have some BBs, right? Wow. Because I've known a lot of kids in my life. Like, personally, I was like 5 years old, and I knew better than to hurt anyone with the BBs, okay? We would set up cans out there. We would, set up little targets, and nobody was trying to hurt nobody. We were very responsible children. Why? I think it's because, you know what? We were raised right. We were raised to have respect and kindness and caring and love. Yeah. And my kids don't have to be supervised as well, Andrew. Most kids don't. Something's up when you have to keep something like some BBs locked away from your fucking kid. You better just lock up the dangerous things in the freaking kitchen as well, right? Like, don't leave out no sharp tools or objects with this kid like this, right?
Gun safe for you. Nope. But listen, you seen the dates on those? You seen the dates on them? I was not itching to fucking blow my son's shit up, but when he sat there and disrespected me like he did, and then disrespected my mom, that was game over. So I mean, he can get mad at me all he wants, but I mean, people are like, "Oh, it's vile for you to disown him and everything else." Well, no, it's the best thing I can do right now is to disown.
No, the best thing you could have done is discipline your son so that he wouldn't have been acting like that anymore. The best thing you could have done was, like, okay, time out. If it didn't work, then, try to speak with him, telling, give him an opportunity to, on his own reconnaissance to be a better person. If that didn't work, well, then you needed to turn him around and bust that backside. And I guarantee you, when nothing else worked, that would have. But you didn't do it. Because you're weak. You let your kids run you instead of you running your kids.
Because if I don't, I'm going to be a very evil person. Oh, yeah, but here's the thing.
You look evil. You think evil. Being a devil's advocate, you're one of them cowardly evil people, Andrew. You're one of them cowardly evil people. That's what you are. You're the evil person nobody's afraid of. All right? He's that evil motherfucker nobody's afraid of because you know that he's really yellow as hell. Straight through and through, right?
If Allison pulls through this, she's going to find out about all of it, and she's still going to cuddle him. Oh, dude, they turned around and said, "Oh, don't say nothing about what's going on with Ellie because we don't want the husband to get her money." It don't matter. The husband's entitled to it anyway. This dude had 2 wives in 2 other states on top of Allison. One in California, Allison, and one up here in New York. To some states, it's illegal. There's a couple of them. Not really many. There's a very few states where it is.
Why didn't Andrew call law enforcement over there? Right? Why didn't he call law enforcement and tell them that, 2 women seem to, die the exact same way with severe head injuries that put them into comas and they passed away. And a common denominator in both in both cases was his son, Hunter. Why didn't he call law enforcement? I don't know. I don't know. You know, he sits there and wants to say how Allison fucked up by not turning Hunter in. But he didn't turn a Hunter in either, did he? He didn't turn his son in as well. So he really needs to keep his damn mouth shut about Allison, right? I mean, I understand Allison because she raised the boy, was attached to the boy, and really cared about the boy. But I don't understand his ass because he's done nothing for this boy at all. So why didn't he turn him in?
That's where. Oh, well, that's the thing. I had no plans of fucking. A part of my language. I had no plans of producing any of them at all. None. And then, he crossed the line with me. I was willing to let it fly, and then he crossed the line with my mom, and then I said, no, I'm not letting it fly. Oh, yeah. I mean, at 2 years old, he walked up and busted my mother in the face for no reason. Yup, when he was 2 years old, walked up and busted her in the mouth, and that's when I stopped taking him every weekend. I wasn't going to allow that around. I wasn't going to allow that in my mother's house because I was living with her at the time. I couldn't have that. I mean, this boy's had issues since day one that I don't talk about. And it's like, I don't want to be that dad, but dude, you're turning me into this person that's going to throw your whole history under the bus, man. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm very upset with him. I got no.
And that was a lie too, Amanda. That was a lie too. Didn't Hunter himself say he had a probation meeting the day Summer did? Yeah, he tried. Well, first they tried him and Allison tried to say he had a doctor's appointment and tried to say they went to it, and we found out that was a damn lie. And then Hunter tried to lie and say that his probation officer was showing up. That was a damn lie too. They lied. And why was they lying? I mean, if they had nothing to hide and they weren't guilty of anything, why were they lying? Why the hell was, they lying like they did? Why did Allison lie about seeing Summer on those milk jugs just like that? Why, when she didn't, when we know she didn't? Because Hunter himself said that Summer was on the pillow. She told Chris, oh, she was on a pillow next to the driver's side door because she's the only one wet. He said because she was the only one wet. No, Hunter's ass was wet too. He went out into the water. We seen him go out into the water behind this little girl. He was wet too, but he wants you to believe that his ass was dry. And that, that is him trying to, distance himself from the truth of what went on when he went out there into that water. And I think that truth is that he destroyed that little girl because Candace wanted him to. That's my opinion. I think she got that boy all hayed up, gave him the courage he needed to go out there and do a real sinister deed. That's my opinion. I will keep it. I think this group of people all had their hands in some really evil, sinister stuff when it came to children. And I think this whole group was in on it. They had some real nasty, weird people gathered up doing some real weird stuff with children. That's my opinion. I'll keep it.
Not nice to say about him, and every time I talk about him, I get really evil and say some really, really evil things. He played me, PG, hard. He played me hard to the point where I'm taking the fall for this, and it's like, dude, you're not getting it. I'm showing. That's why he's in the system, is because of his actions. I mean, the whole car thing about him stealing a car with a baby in it. I don't believe none of that. I do believe that he tried to rob somebody for vapes and that fell through. I mean, the reason why he's in the system is because he's hanging out with the wrong people, doing the wrong shit, and he doesn't listen. Oh yeah. And instead he tried to get more money off the people. It's like, no, bro. And then on top of that, come to find out, dude ain't even his girl ain't even pregnant. So it's all. So that was a lie. That I was. Yeah. Yep. She ain't even knocked up at all. So this whole time, dude's been bombarding my whole family for money, this, that, and everything else. It's like, dude, if you're this broke, how'd you get that new tattoo? But I'm saying, how is she How is she over two? How is she a little over $2,000 in the hole on rent when her rent's $915? But here's the thing. Everybody's like, oh well, you gave them a platform. It's your fault. I mean, I'll take blame that I gave them a platform to speak. But I honestly thought I was actually really fucking pissed off and upset about the whole situation. And then I knew what he was. He tried playing this shit in 2018 within the family.
There you go. There you go. And down here,
To help my kid. Oh, I just hope the boy's mind gets right. Now, remember, you remember how Leslie died? She was sick, and then she fell, hit her head, and died. Right? 2 and 2 equals 4, honey. I understand, and
you remember how Leslie died? She fell, hit her head, and was unlived. Well, same way Allison went out. 2 and 2's 4. That's what he's saying. That's what he was alluding to. Right there. You heard it out of his own mouth. He's saying my son is evil enough to destroy both of these women. Right? My son is evil. And if his son's evil enough to destroy both of those women, then he sure in the hell would have went out there and destroyed Summer for Candace, who had groomed him for a long time. Right? Absolutely. That's my opinion. I'll keep it. Oh, yeah, he's saying it all right. He's saying it, you all. You just heard it. You just heard it. This guy knew and knows how evil his boy is. You know. And he wants to make Allison out as the bad person, the bad person, the bad person. Well, you know what? He can turn his son in too, right? There ain't nothing wrong with his hands and fingers. He can dial a damn phone. He can pick up a phone and dial it. He can turn his own boy in. Why isn't he? Why isn't he? That's the question here. That's the question. For 2 nights, I wanted to talk about Rose and Rose Bly's case, some of the things I found. And I haven't, there's just not enough hours in a day, right? But you know what? I'm going to save it. I will bring it, God willing, I'll bring it out tomorrow night. And we'll go over that. I brought it with me tonight, but we're out of time. You guys. So, PG's got to get out of here. I do got to catch some sleep before I got to get up to go to work. And so, a lot of us have to work for that living, right? We have to work for that living. We ain't, lucky as Andrew and just get to, I wouldn't want to be that lucky. Right? I don't want to be that lucky. I don't want to be lucky enough to stay home and squeeze the cat. I really don't. I want to go to work. Right? I want to go to work. But anyway, yeah. I'm going to stick with going to work. But I got to get up and go to work in the morning, and I'm going to love doing it now. I'm going to love it. So, and I'm going to let you guys get some rest because you probably got a lot of work to get done tomorrow as well and to do. So, you know, even if you don't have a regular job, you know, which a lot of us do, but even if you don't, you still got lots of things to get done during the day. So I'm going to let you guys get some rest so everybody can do what we need to do. And, you know, but not before I asked you, as I do every single night, please keep those prayers going up for Summer, Moon, Utah, Wells. Keep them going up for this little girl, because I know God's listening, you guys. From our lips to his ears through his son, Jesus Christ, in Jesus' holy name, I know God's listening. I know he hears our prayers. Right? And he will answer. Just, you know, have faith. God answers on his time, not ours. I think he's, you know, I think God's pulled a whole lot to the light in Summer's case, and I'm sure that the rest of it will be pulled to the light as well, including justice being served. We serve a powerful God, and he does answer prayers. I know that for a fact. So please, keep those prayers going up, because this baby sure can use them. She sure can use them, you guys. So please keep praying for her, and pray for one another. Pray for the rest of these missing kids. Michael Vaughn still needs to be found, justice served. Sebastian Rogers needs to be found, justice served. Jack and little Lily need to be found, justice served. And a lot of other children out there, needing prayers as well. Let us pray for them also. Let us pray that their neglect and abuse don't ever reach the stages that these other children has reached. Let us pray that they get the help that we wish these children could have got before all of this went down. Please keep them prayers going up, and please pray for one another. A family prays together, stays together. Good night, everybody. God bless. Much love.